the road and talking. The wife said to her husband, "Honey, if I were to die, would you get remarried?" The husband thought for a moment and then said, "Well, yes, I think I would." The wife wasn't too happy about this. She spent some time in quiet thought. Then after a while she said, "Honey, if I were to die and you were to get remarried, would you give your new wife my jewelry?" "Well, honey, I guess I would." The wife wasn't too happy about this either. She spent a little more time in thought while they continued their drive and then said, "Honey, if I were to die and you were to get remarried, would you give your new wife my handbags?" The husband paused for a moment and then said, "Well, sure, I think I would." The wife was again a little dismayed with this and spent a little more time in thought. Then she said to her husband, "Honey, if I were to die and you were to get married again, would you give your new wife my golf clubs?" He spent a few seconds thinking and replied, "No, she's left-handed."
Oh my
A man bought a new Mercedes to celebrate his wife leaving him and was out on the interstate for a nice evening drive. The top was down, the breeze was blowing through what was left of his hair, and he decided to open her up. As the needle jumped up to 80 miles per hour, he suddenly saw flashing red and blue lights behind him. "There's no way they can catch a Mercedes," he thought to himself and opened her up further. The needle hit 90, 100. Then the reality of the situation hit him. "What am I doing?" he thought, and pulled over. The cop came up to him, took his license without a word, and examined it in the car. "It's been a long, hard day. This is the end of my shift, and it's Friday the 13th. I don't feel like more paperwork. I don't need the frustration or the overtime. So if you can give me a really good excuse for your driving that I haven't heard before, you can go." The guy thinks about it for a second and says, "Last week my nagging wife ran off with a cop. I was afraid you were trying to give her back. Have a nice weekend," said the officer.
God. That's terrible.
Man refuses an opportunity to be romantic with his wife. What happens next is genius. A married couple in their early 60s was celebrating their 35th wedding anniversary in a quiet, romantic little restaurant. Suddenly, a tiny yet beautiful fairy appeared on their table saying, "For being such an exemplary married couple and for being loving to each other for all this time, I will grant you each a wish." "Oh, I want to travel around the world with my darling husband," says the wife. The fairy waved her magic wand and poof! 2 tickets for the Queen Mary II appeared in her hands. The husband thought for a moment. "Well, this is all very romantic, but an opportunity like this will never come again. I'm sorry, my love, but my wish is to have a wife 30 years younger than me." The wife and the fairy were deeply disappointed, but a wish is a wish. So the fairy waved her magic wand and poof! The husband became 92 years old. The moral of this story: men who are ungrateful bastards should remember fairies are female. I was 13. I hoped that one day I would have a girlfriend with big tits. When I was 16, I got a girlfriend with big tits, but there was no passion. So I decided I needed a passionate girl with zest for life. In college, I dated a passionate girl, but she was too emotional. Everything was an emergency. She was a drama queen and cried all the time. BetMGM Casino has the most exciting live. I needed a girl with stability. When I was 25, I found a very stable girl, but she was boring. She was totally predictable and never got excited about anything. Life became so dull that I decided I needed a girl with some excitement. When I was 28, I found an exciting girl, but I couldn't keep up with her. She rushed from one thing to another, never settling on anything. She did mad, impetuous things and made me miserable as often as happy. She was great fun initially and very energetic, but directionless. So I decided to find a girl with some real ambition. When I turned 30, I found a smart, ambitious girl with her feet planted firmly on the ground, so I married her. She was so ambitious that she divorced me and took everything I owned. I am older and wiser now, and I am looking for a girl with big tits.
Dave Carl and Carl's wife, Sarah, were playing cards on Thursday morning. Dave's card fell under the table, and when he went down to get it, he saw that Sarah was not wearing underwear. Dave got back up and went to the kitchen to get some refreshment. Sarah followed him into the kitchen and asked, "Did you like what you saw under there?" Shocked by her boldness, Dave hesitantly replied positively. Sarah then said, "You can have it, but it costs $500.
No.
Dave eagerly agreed to pay. Sarah then said, "Come to my place sometime after 2 p.m. on Friday. Carl will be golfing from 2 to 6. On the next day, Dave reached Carl and Sarah's house at 3 p.m. He paid Sarah the $500 and they did the deed. At 6 p.m., Carl returned home. His first words to Sarah were, "Did Dave come here this afternoon?" Shocked, Sarah replied, "Yes, he stayed for a few minutes." Carl then asked, "So did he give you $500 then?" Gulping, Sarah nervously said, "Yeah." Then Carl said, "Great. He came by the golf club and borrowed $500 from me and said he would pay you back on his way home."
A local charity organization realized they had